Hello and welcome to Gardening at 58 North. So in this video I'd like to show you some hidden scary plants that you might have hiding in your own garden. They look like normal ordinary plants until you look up close, and then they've got some quite scary looking appearances. So this one here is one of them. This looks like it's a bit of bone with lots of little trap soles in it. You can see all those small faces in there. And then I have another plant over here which is very unusual. And this one looks like a skull of a pixie or some kind of alien or something. So you can see there, you've got that terrifying looking skull. So I'll now take you outside and I'll show you these plants out in the open, and then I'll take you back into the studio environment here and show you how they look close up. So this is the first plant I'm going to talk about, which is a scary looking plant when you look closely enough, and this is bamboo. It looks quite normal. You might be thinking, where is this scary kind of feature from? And it's actually from the bamboo canes itself. So what I'll be doing is I'll be taking you to the studio. I'll be showing you this piece of bamboo as a cross section up close, and I'll also have some photos from this other one as well. And these are taken from, this one's taken from my bamboo plant, and the larger cross section is taken from a large bamboo cane that I have. Not a plant that everyone has, but still fairly common in the garden. It really does look unusual. So I'll take you to the studio now and you'll have a look at how that looks. So this is the close-up view of the bamboo. Now I'll try and use a pen to point out some of the features. So with the bamboo, it's a very small section that you're actually looking at. You really can't see it with the naked eye. So this is the cross section. You can see the curve along there of the cross section of the bamboo. The bit on the left in here is actually the interior of the bamboo, so that's inside the bamboo cane here. And then on this side, it's the outside of the bamboo cane. So what you're looking at is all these little holes. Now they're in groups of 3, so it looks like an eye with a mouth. So it looks a bit like it's little trapped soles or some kind of like faces trapped inside the bamboo. Also, there's some very fine patterning around those faces, and it looks a bit like bone. What you're looking at here is the internal structure of the bamboo cane. So the small holes are actually tubes, but because they've been cut in a cross section, you're just seeing them face on, so it looks like 3 holes as opposed to long tubes. So what you're looking at is actually the plumbing of the bamboo. So this is where the water and the sugars get transferred up and down the bamboo cane to support the leaves and to support the roots. So it does look very menacing, like lots of little trap soles inside the bamboo, but actually this is just part of the bamboo's plumbing system, and this is how it transports the water and nutrients up and down itself. So very sinister looking, but actually it's just the tubes going up and down the bamboo. So the second unusual plant I'd like to show you is this one here. So this is an Antirrhinum, doesn't look too unusual, but this is actually where you find the weird looking skeleton heads. So the actual flower itself is a little unusual. So it's quite a common flower, this one. A lot of people have it in their garden, but sometimes the flower itself can look a little bit like a velociraptor or some kind of dinosaur. It's got like that kind of dragon appearance to it. It's got this mouth that comes down, you can see there. Quite unusual just in the flower itself. If you look closely, from a distance it doesn't look that strange, but you look close and you got this real kind of dragon appearance there with the mouth coming open. So the seed heads themselves, these are them down here. When they start to dry out, they start looking a bit odd. So what I'll do is I'll now take you to the studio and show you closer up the detail of these, but you can see they really do hang on in bunches, really looking quite menacing like that. So as you can see, this looks very sinister. This is just the Antirrhinum seed head though, a very weird looking seed head. It looks just like a skull. So you can see here you've got the eye socket on the left hand side, just around about there. Then it looks like you've got a mouth. It also looks like there's a nose, and when I turn it around you'll see there's another eye socket as well. So it really does look like it's a skull. And it's a very elongated skull, so it could look like a pixie or maybe something like an alien or something. But especially with that nose, it really does look like it's a skull. So again, looks very menacing, but this is actually just the seed head of the Antirrhinum plant. I'll bring some others into shot now, and you'll be able to see there are actually seeds in this inside of this seed head. So when you see inside that seed head there, again, this looks like a skull. But if you look inside the eye socket or the mouth hole, you can see there's little black bits. That's the seeds. I'll now tap them out so you can have a closer look. So I'll just tap them out on this section of table here. You can see there's little brown bits coming out. They are the seeds from the Antirrhinum. So it's just a seed head. It does look very strange. It looks very much like a skull. I think that's probably one of the scariest looking things to have in the garden. A beautiful flower, but when you look up close, it has this really menacing skull. And this is all. It only looks like this when it's dead as well, which adds to the menacing appearance, I think. So they don't look too strange when they're young, but when they start to die off and dry to release the seeds, you get this really menacing appearance. And you can see there's several of them here on this stem. Now they actually grow upright, so they're upside down when they're on the stem, so they're a little bit harder to notice with the naked eye. But all you need to do is pick them, turn them upside down, and then you can see that really kind of menacing appearance. And they all have this same kind of feature with like a long nose, 2 eye sockets and a mouth, so it really does look like a skull, especially as when they dry out you get this kind of whitish appearance, so it really gives it that menacing look to it. So the last plant is a bit more obvious. This does look unusual from the get-go. So this is a Nicandrophyceloides. The common name is Shoo-fly plant, and this already does look a bit unusual and is a plant that not everyone has. It's not the most common of plants, but it's got this beautiful blue flower, and that's a kind of a hint as to what the unusual part is. It's the seed heads. Once these flowers are finished, you get these unusual looking seed heads which are completely black in places, and it really does look quite unusual. So I'll show you a close-up now in the studio with the macro shot and tell you a bit more detail about this plant. So this here at first glance looks like the leathery appearance of a bat wing, but this is the Nicandrophyceloides, also known as Shoo-fly, and this is actually the seed capsule. So you can see the outside here, the shape of it and the colour, that pitch black with the veining on there. It looks very much like it could be bat wings, but again this is just an ordinary plant that looks very menacing but actually isn't that menacing. So this is again Nicandrophyceloides, looks like bat wings, but then when you have a closer look you can see it's actually a capsule here, and underneath this capsule there's actually a sort of berry, and inside that is all the seeds. So the outside appearance very menacing and unusual looking, and it's one of the few plants that is pitch black, but again it's just an ordinary plant which has a real menacing appearance to it. So that's all for this video, but if you guys are out in the garden, have a closer look at many other plants in your garden. If you look carefully enough you might find some more unusual scary looking things out there.